Today, as the world remembers Dolly Parton, I wanted to share another piece of her remarkable life through legal history. This case involves Dolly and the man who helped launch her career, Porter Wagoner. Long before Dolly Parton became a worldwide superstar, she appeared on the Porter Wagoner Show. Beginning in the late 1960s, Dolly and Porter became one of country music's best-known singing duos. But eventually, Dolly wanted to leave the show and build a career of her own. Their professional breakup became emotional and complicated. In fact, Dolly wrote "I Will Always Love You" as a farewell to Porter when she decided it was time to move on. But several years later, their disagreement ended up in court. In 1979, Porter Wagoner sued Dolly Parton for $3 million, claiming that she had breached their business agreement. The lawsuit was filed in Chancery Court for Davidson County, Tennessee. Porter claimed that under an agreement between them, he was entitled to a percentage of Dolly's earnings even after she left his show. He wanted an accounting of her income and record royalties, and he claimed he was entitled to 15% of her net income from June 1974 through June 1979, along with a percentage of certain record royalties. There was also a dispute involving their jointly owned publishing company. Porter claimed Dolly had removed songs from the company, and there were also disagreements over recordings they had made together. Think about where Dolly was in her career at this point. She had left Porter's television show, gone out on her own, and was becoming one of the biggest stars in country music. So this wasn't just a disagreement between two singers. There was serious money involved. Dolly fought back against the lawsuit and challenged the way parts of their business relationship had been handled. Welcome to Once Upon a Case, because the law isn't just for lawyers, it's for everyone. But this case never ended with a dramatic jury verdict. Instead, Dolly and Porter settled the lawsuit out of court in 1979. Dolly later described the settlement as extremely expensive and said that Porter received the first $1 million she ever made. And here's what makes the story even more interesting. Despite the lawsuit and all the bitterness between them, Dolly and Porter eventually repaired their relationship. Years later, Porter said he still loved Dolly and was proud of what they had accomplished together. So this case wasn't really about two strangers fighting over money. It was about two people who had built a successful career together, then had to figure out what happened financially when one of them decided to leave. And that is the legal lesson behind this case. When you enter into a business agreement, even with someone you trust, leaving the partnership doesn't necessarily make the contract disappear. For Dolly Parton, walking away from Porter Wagoner gave her the freedom to become a superstar. But legally, leaving came with a very expensive price. And despite everything that happened between them, the two eventually found their way back to friendship. That makes this not only a story about contracts and money, but also another fascinating chapter in the life and history of Dolly Parton. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, watch this case next.